What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know what time it is. It is a new show. We call it Gridiron Views. Views from just regular, common working men like me, Dre, my man Tyree. We're going to talk a little bit about football, life, and just anything that falls under the sun. But we got a lot of great football views from A to Z. And we also have a historical point that we can also put out there. So we're all about educating the masses as well as entertaining. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and let the guys introduce themselves. First, my name's Ryan Walker, better known as the historian. I'm going to give you your historical facts of the show as well as modern points of view. And then we got my man, Andre. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself, Dre.
Yeah, man. Andre, I'm the German of the show, but I promise you, when I say football, I'm not talking about soccer. In my household, we still call it soccer. But yeah, nah, I'm ready to bring the people some good content, give them a different point of view, and you know, give them that perspective of a champion. Because some of us on here actually have rings and have won things. Some of us have.
So you can't be ignorant all your life. You want to sit here and start throwing rocks already. See, this is what we can't do. We just starting off. But let's get back to it, man. We got the other part of it. We got the other portion of the brain of the show. We have Mr. Tyree Holland in the show. What's going on, Tyree? Tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
What's up, guys? My name is Tyree Howland, man. I'm in the cut like peroxide, as my good brother Ross says, man. I feel good to, just bring some football knowledge and also some business knowledge. Here's to new beginnings, man. More life, more blessings, as I like to say. Let's keep it rolling, guys.
Man, well, let's go ahead and bless the people with a little bit more than just that life on that. Let's talk a little bit about a couple of topics that's coming up, man. The first thing that we're going to talk about today, the Terrion Arnold situation. When you look at a guy that is as talented as this young man, poor choices have derailed a promising career before it even got started. Andre, I'm gonna let you go ahead and start this off. This is one of your guys from Alabama and definitely was a top player in college football and has gotten to the NFL and had some good reviews till this situation popped up with him getting in trouble. What do you think about this whole situation as a whole?
Yeah, man. One of my favorites, one of Miss Terry's favorites, Nick Saban just recently spoke up on his behalf. But my read on the situation is even if he's innocent of the criminal charges, this is still like a case study in what happens when your circumstances change, but the way you move does not. At some point, athletes have to understand that outgrowing your old environment does not mean forgetting where you come from. It means recognizing that your name, your money, your career, and your future now carry a different level of risk. The people around you matter. The conversations you stay in matter. The rooms you enter matter. The decisions your friends make can still attach themselves to you, even if you are not the one physically doing anything wrong. This is why athletes have to start acting their wage. That doesn't mean becoming arrogant. It doesn't mean cutting off everyone from your past. It means moving with the awareness that when your circumstances change, your responsibilities change too. In a time where accountability feels scarce, people have to wake up and think smarter. One bad situation, one bad apple in your circle, one bad assumption, or one reckless moment can put everything you built and worked your whole life for at risk. So I need these athletes to start acting their wage.
I agree wholeheartedly, but getting to Tyree, how do you feel accountability for society as a whole plays a part on what athletes are going through in this day and age when nobody's holding them accountable before they even get into a position of fortune and fame? But now you're starting to see high schoolers starting to get to that point of getting NIL deals and sponsorships at a young age before they even get their high school degrees. How do you think that this is playing onto the future of professional athletics as a whole?
I would say the biggest thing is where's your morality lies, because everybody has family, but is your family really for you, or is they are they chasing the dollar? that's the whole purpose. Like, what is your core values? Like, are you willing to sell out your kid for money, or are you willing to look at the long term vision and letting these kids know life is more than just football? Don't get me wrong, you can do tremendous things, but what about, like, you need to look at your character. Like, who is in my circle that will check me no matter how much money I got, whether it's $10 in my bank account or 100 million in my bank account? Who is in my circle that would check me and let me know, no, you're not doing that. No, you got practice tomorrow. Oh no, we're out partying. No, you can't drink right now, man. Go home. I just look at it takes a village, but people don't understand what is that village made of. Because you can have village idiots, excuse my French, or you can have people that actually got your best interests at hand. What about yourself, Rod? How do you feel about this current situation?
You want me to be honest, or do you want me to tell a lie?
Oh, be honest, man. We got view, man. It's Gridiron
We
Views.
ain't
It's
here to
hard hitting
tell no
views, man.
lies.
No
Okay.
lies, man.
Nah, because you know how people are coddled and they're in their feelings about things, but this is how I feel about today's society when it comes to enforcing and having accountability sometimes.
And for every dummy, there's a dummy.
That's how I feel. So when you sit back and you look at the fact that you have the blind leading the blind and really there's no accountability, the only thing that a lot of people are starting to see at this point, they're starting to just see the money that's coming in, and most people aren't thinking about the money is a tool that's going to get you farther in life, and the more money you get, you just pretty much put yourself in a spot to where you're going to have more yes men around you, and when you have those yes men around you, that makes it that more dangerous in being able to survive not as an athlete, but as a human in society. And at this point, it's just like what was said, for every dummy, there's a dummy. And you're seeing the fact that guys are getting in trouble left and right, and they think they can get away with it like they did in college. As much grief as my Georgia Bulldog players catch all the time for getting, with speeding and different instances that have happened. If you ever notice, most of them, once they get to the NFL, of course, there are some exceptions. You don't see a ton of them getting in trouble because they've experienced what it was like to get in trouble early in their careers, and they know how close they've come to throwing away everything that they've worked for. So at this point, man, I just see it as this. Look, surviving in the NFL is a lot harder when you have yes men in your corner. That's pretty much how I look at the Terrion Arnold situation. And how do you feel about the fact that Nick Saban has stepped in to write a letter for Terrion Arnold on his behalf for his character, even though he's made a mistake and Nick Saban has been removed from college football? How do you think this would impact him with the judicial system down in the state of Florida? And you literally just saw James Pierce Jr. getting some stuff down in the state of Florida as well, which was a different situation, but still. What do you think?
I think that this matters a lot because it goes back to what I was saying about the people in your circle. Because I've been looking into some of the facts of this case and things that are being thrown around. It kind of sounds like these people that implicated him might have been acting on their own and then later to get lesser sentences then implicated him. Now, we won't know that until more facts come out, and that's why we allow the system to do their job, even though, I mean, that could be a whole another episode by itself, but we allow the court system to hopefully do their job and figure out what really happened here. But having the testimony of Nick Saban, I do think helps because it's a guy that Terrion was around for years. He did experience kind of the growth of Tyrion over the years. And I mean, if there was no indication of this kind of action from him prior to this, to me, it could bode well for him potentially even being able to lesser the sentence or, I mean, even beat the charges. So it's big for him. But regardless of that, no matter how this ends, I need him to learn from this. I need him to learn, and I need other athletes and other people in general to learn from this situation that you have to be careful who you're around, and that not everybody that you call a friend understands what you have to lose.
It's ironic that you mentioned that, Andre. Speaking of risk, man, I want to ask you, gentlemen, how will the Brandy Swartzby situation impact the world of football?
Well, again, as we always say,
And for every dummy, there's a dummy.
and in this situation, he is a dummy. You're betting on not only regular football games, you're betting on your own. And when you look at this situation with Sorsby, this is going to be a negative black eye on his career. And not even just his career, but also his integrity as a person. Because if you actually have a chance to have a job after you're done playing football, can they trust you not to gamble away important funds? Because you might have a job where you're dealing with finances. You might have a job where you're dealing with something that actually could jeopardize your career because of your piss poor decision making. And that's just the honest to God truth. And I hate to say it, but one of the nastiest situations that we saw, well, we didn't get to see it per se, but if you got to read up on it, you talk about the legendary Connie Hawkins, who pretty much was the first player to get his number retired by the Phoenix Suns, but was a New York basketball legend. He got caught up in a gambling scandal, even though he was found innocent and there was no evidence pointing towards him at Iowa for point shaving. So when you look at how his reputation was tarnished, and even though he was found innocent, that stain was on his name pretty much up until the day he died. And it took away from how great of a ball player he was. And it took him years to get his credibility, at least somewhat, from being fractured. So, Dre, how do you feel as if it comes down to credibility, your last name that's on the back of your jersey that you carry with you until you go meet the good Lord above? And what does this change of events bring to the world of athletics when you talk about gambling?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we call him the historian. You always gonna learn something new with Rye around, man. He always got some kind of historical fact for the people. He's gonna give you some news you can use every time. But Rye, before we get to the implications of what this means for football, I want to go back to Sorsby because I said something about Terrion and his circle and all that. The same thing applies here to Sorsby. This isn't about him just making bad decisions. He was enabled by his handlers, by his friends, his family, by the universities that he attended. He was enabled by these people. And I just don't see how everybody is just able to escape accountability in this. Like, I want to be clear. He went to rehab. So I'm not here to say he had a problem or he didn't. He went to rehab. He went to go get help. But even if that's the case, the people around him enabled that habit for multiple, multiple years, up until the point that it affected the cash flow coming in. To me, that's an issue. It goes back to, are you really taking care of the person, right? The money getter, the bag getter. Are you taking care of that person? Are you holding that person accountable? Are you really moving in that person's best interest? Or are you just doing what's best for you? And to be clear, I don't, even if Sorsby does have a problem, I'm not here to absolve him of any of the accountability. There's been a lot of different addictions throughout history, and all those addicts have had to deal with the consequences of their actions, regardless of them being addicts or not. To me, him having an issue, that's his thing. The NFL, the CFL, all these other leagues that now don't want him to play for them, I think they have a valid case. They're not picking on Sorsby. They're upholding the integrity of the game. Like the title of the episode, integrity cashes in. And honestly, if we can blacklist, or not we, but if the NFL can blacklist, allegedly, Colin Kaepernick for kneeling in protest, then I'm damn sure not gonna feel sorry for Brendan Sorsby for being blackballed
Agreed.
for gambling. Like I'm not here for that type of sympathy. I don't got it.
I agree with you because Sorsby admitted to it. It's not like he has a worthy cause. You get what I'm saying? Like Craig Hodges had in the early 90s with the Bulls. Craig Hodges was a hell of a three-point shooter. Everybody talks about Steph Curry and these guys. I'm mixing football, a little basketball, but I'm letting you see what this was. But he had a demand about the community in Chicago, talking about some of the conditions that needed to be handled and some of the things that were going on that was really messed up. And he went to the White House, presented that in the dashiki. He was blackballed from the NBA because of that. But everybody is sitting here tripping over somebody gambling. Nah. If you have people that have worthy causes like a Colin Kaepernick, a Craig Hodges, and so many others, why am I not going to sit back and hold a guy that gambled, that had an issue, a sickness, an addiction that he has? Why am I not going to sit there and punish him for that? Because again, he gambled on his own teams. If I'll just say this: if Pete Rose can't get in the Hall of Fame, this man shouldn't be able to play football. Just saying. Pete had a body of work, and he didn't start gambling until after he was done playing. But at the end of the day, this is the type of decision that you're seeing. So I have no sympathy for somebody who is an habitual line stepper like himself. And he wasn't even smart enough to have people around him to do it for him and just pay them a little bit of money so he doesn't get in trouble. But again, like you say, Andre, you got people that enable you to do that. So,
Oh no, he did
um,
have those people around him. He had his family and his friends that placed those bets for him for years. But then
it
when it
shouldn't
came
even been in his
time for
name,
him to
though.
face the consequences, though, Rod, what happened?
I, I agree with you on that. But my thing is this, and I'm not advocating for this man to do this, but what I am saying, if you're going to do something as crooked as a politician like this, most politicians are crooked. So, yes, I'm saying that. If you're going to do something of this sort, at least have the decency to have someone else to do it and not have it to lead back to you. Have some kind of common sense if you're going to be crooked. But again, crime never pays. Everything that's done in the dark shall come to the light. And everything is out in the light now and everything's out in the open. He's not even going to get a chance. And this is no disrespect to Canada at all, but he's not even going to get a chance to even go to Canada to compete. Maybe not even the Arena League.
He can come to the European League of Football right now. I guarantee you there's a team out here that'll take him.
You think they go give him a chance,
Hey,
Dre?
they playing right now. I was just watching a game this past weekend while the kids were jumping around in the pool, had some food on the grill. I was watching them play, man. It felt like it was the fall already almost. It was beautiful. But go ahead, Tyree. My fault. Go ahead.
It's all good. It's all good. To be honest with you, man, in the era of NIL and athletes, accountability needs to be shined on more and more. Because back in the day, like we're all still young on this pod, but back in the day, we had a moral code where you can't do certain situations. Just like in the earlier conversations, man. When you're gambling on your future, when like what a couple $1,000s compared to Brandon could have been a top 5, top 10 draft pick, a little couple $100 compared to 40 million that can take care of your family when we talk about generational wealth and we preach it. My thing is short-sightedness, man. Like everybody knows, Rye, Dre, we always say like we are breadwinners in our family. We take care of our family. Our main saying is all money is not good money. He just got shorted by the next fix, man. "Ooh, can I hit next?" or betting on your teammates. Because who's to say if the NFL let him in or the other leagues let him in, this man throws a pick six. You know what creeps into everybody's head? Was that on purpose? Are you in on the over or under? I don't know these sayings, man. I've been around a lot of people that does, they parlays and whatnot. Speaking of parlay, is the Madden curse still a thing? Andre, how do you feel about that?
Is the Madden curse still a thing? Well, I think first we should probably, because there's a lot of young people that don't really remember the Madden curse and like the impact, the chokehold that it had on the sports world. So maybe we should go through the history of it for the people first. Um, it started around what, like 2000, 2001. It's like the first year of the Madden curse, right? And it started with a fumble in the playoffs. Remember that, Ryan? Eddie
Yeah, I
George
definitely
fumbling in the
remember that. Shoot.
playoffs.
No, I
Mhm.
definitely remember it because, again, me being a Falcons fan, I remember when Michael Vick broke his leg after he was on the cover of Madden. And ironically, it was in a preseason game that he broke his leg, and he wasn't the same after that. So, and that's when a lot of other things started happening, which we're not going to touch into. But you can really say that there are so many players that have gone through that. Vic was one. Shoot, man. And you look at Garrison Hurst was another one, another a Bulldog alum. Playoff game against the Falcons. He gets twisted around and his ankle snapped like a breadstick. You know, and just think about it. Eddie George pretty much had fumble issues. Dante Culpepper blew his knee out. Marshall Faulk, missed starts because of, missed starts. Ray Lewis ended up Ravens missed the playoffs. Christian McCaffrey was hurt. So I mean, these are just some of the
Well,
prominent
no, hold on.
names.
You going a little too far because Christian McCaffrey, that's a different era. That's more modern, right? But you
Yeah,
did name a lot of them. You got my guy Sean Alexander, right? Roll Tide.
yeah.
Um, never returned to form. And he was cold, man. That guy was so good. I mean, Vince Young just never
He
never
never
really
panned out.
panned out. Now we know there was some other things involved there that wasn't necessarily all on him, but you had Brett Favre, right? He had the collapse late with the Jets. You had, interesting enough, Larry Fitzgerald beat the Madden curse. But Troy Polamalu did not. So maybe it only affected one of the two because there was two of them on the cover that year in 2010 or in a Madden 10. Drew Brees, I mean, you're a
He was
Falcons
in New
fan.
Orleans by that time, though.
He
He
was.
already came back from that injury.
That's when they lost to Seattle in the playoffs.
One of the most beautiful runs of all time, and against the
Mhm.
Saints out of all teams, thank God.
And then the end of that, like, real Madden curse era to me was Peyton Hillis.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, man, that's
man,
bruh, that's like a
that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
that's a definition of a one hit wonder. Got good God, one good season, nothing else heard of. Man,
That man had
Man,
587 yards and 3 touchdowns after gracing the cover. So, like, it truly used to be a gift and a curse to be on the cover because it was definitely an honor, right? It meant you were one of the best in the sport. It's like, man, you get on that cover, you started to sweat. Like, well, what's going to happen to me? I mean, look at Donovan McNabb. That he had all the TO issues and all that. Like, the
yep.
Madden curse wasn't necessarily one thing. It was like 7 years of bad luck almost. Like, it was you were on the cover, and that next year, something was going to happen. Calvin Johnson, and you know what Megatron did in that year.
oh my
That was
God,
his, single season receiving record year right there.
Andre, you giving me flashbacks as a Bears fan, man. Don't do that to me, man. I'm just trying to think, man. Look, all of us got that one player where he's like, it's nothing you can do with him. It's like it
It's
is what it is.
for me, it was Steve Smith. That
Mm,
was a guy that just every time he played against us, it was just awful. You knew he was gonna do something. So is he was just one of those players you expected it from, and then after he left, hell, you had Mike Evans.
Oh, that brother was cold, man.
Mike Evans is still cold.
Yeah, man. Hey, ironically, hey, I hope he does well with the 49ers this year. But
Well,
you
I'm
know,
glad we don't have to see him again.
oh yeah, man. Speaking of seeing again, when we talk about the Madden curse, man, the tradition, because we're old enough, we're older gentlemen. You think about the injuries or the bus narrative. I really do
Mhm,
feel like when Andre said like at the Megatron or the Peyton Hillis, to me, I think the person that really broke the Madden curse was Patrick Mahomes, because you think about it, like those back to back, those multiple covers in the 2020s, you know, uh, shattering records, winning Super Bowl MVPs and Super Bowls, to
mhm.
him and Tom Brady sharing the cover, ironically them facing each other in the Super Bowl a certain way, man. Andre knows about it, like, hey, being one of the few teams to beat, Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. So, it's about leveling up, man. Hey, I'm gonna leave that alone because hey, we know Andre
You
can get
said
petty
beat
with that.
Brady in the Super Bowl.
You know what? You better not, Andre. You better not, because I know where this is going.
I
I didn't want to be sick with an alley oop like this, man. But
mean, you kind of already did, though, girl, brother. Hey, Rod, what you know about beating Brady in the Super Bowl?
you know,
You know what? Y'all are just
Nasty.
that's what y'all are being right now. That's what y'all are being right now.
oh,
I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying, y'all literally have just came in here and wanted to start trying to pick on me today. I see how this gonna go.
uh, oh man, my bad,
No,
Hey,
man. I got.
I see how no, I see how this gonna go.
hey,
Tyreek, since we talking about players
Oh,
that are beating up on people, how did it
oh.
feel when you had Aaron Rodgers to have more than a 10-year run on your Bears?
Hey man,
oh, wow.
God work in mysterious ways, man. You got to go through a drought to see the light, brother. Hey, you know, hey, can I get an amen, Andre? We know about that. You get some droughts and some
Amen.
ups and downs, amen, brother.
Man,
But
y'all
Hey,
done had a drought. Listen, y'all had a drought since my idol played with y'all, Walter Payton, and y'all still ain't do
hey,
right. And
whoa,
no,
wait
your
a minute.
organization didn't even do
You
right
talking
by him and giving him
crazy
a
right
touchdown in the
now.
Super Bowl.
oh
You
man,
gave it to a defensive lineman that
yeah.
was undeserving of that. But
No,
that's
I agree
another
with you.
story for another day, though.
I agree with you. I'm like, that broke my heart. I wasn't allowed to see it, but hey, I saw it on DVR
And
and YouTube. But
and
speaking of changing
Hey,
the spectrums of a team, man, and we're talking about Madden covers, man. Shout out to Caleb Williams, who's happened to be the franchise quarterback of the Chicago Bears, man. Shout out to Caleb, Iceman. I'm like, even though I don't like the nickname that he's trying to portray, shout out to Iceman Gerving, but everybody has their way of opinion, leveling up. I think Caleb's going to have another breakout season, possibly, another playoff run or MVP run. Who knows, man? Hopefully he shatters it too, because during his interview on the Madden cover, he was like, doggone right, I don't believe in that curse. We're going to shatter the curse. And I was like, hopefully that's the case, man. Speaking, since we're talking about
well,
Madden covers, all of us played the video game of Madden, man. Which Madden was you guys' favorites, if you don't mind me asking, right? Like, if you guys mind, like, is it a distinctive year that sticked out in your head? Like, this is the goated Madden. How
Madden
about you,
'05.
Rye?
I gotta
Okay.
say, man, 2005 with Michael Vick on the cover. And the thing that was my favorite part of it was when you were going through the options of going through your settings, you would actually have a you pretty much would have music in the back, but you also had radio segments going on where they were recorded. They were actually real radio segments that they actually took from a real radio station and they actually put that on there talking football. So for me, that was one of the coolest things because we had never had that. And you had music along going on to the going into the video game. Jermaine Dupri, famous producer that also helped put the Atlanta music scene on the map, was responsible for a lot of the music that went into that Madden 2005. Not just hip hop music. You had rock music and so many different genres that he helped put together on that, and that's a little known fact that most people don't know.
What about you, Andre?
I'm gonna say Madden '06 with McNabb on the cover, just because I have a lot of fond memories of playing that game with my friends back in the day, man, on a day where it was raining outside or something, because back when I was young, we actually played outside still. But that's a foreign concept to kids nowadays. That's a different story for another day too, though. But I would say Madden '06 for sure, man. I love that game. I spent hours and hours playing that game when we had bad weather outside. So I would go with that. But one thing though, because we kind of moved on for the Madden curse real quick, I think you're gonna like this, Tyree, but I think the Madden curse is making a
Ah,
comeback.
Mhm.
oh man,
I
sometimes you
think
got to
I think
moonwalk
it
on
just
that
went
curse.
I think it just went a little dormant for a few years, but I think it's making a
Hey,
comeback. Yeah.
You
hey,
ain't
man.
lying.
Hey, sometimes you got to moonwalk off that curse, man. Shoot.
Well, I mean, you could try to moonwalk it, but it's kind of like Jason. You know how people be running, Jason he don't never change up the pace. He just keep walking and
He just
walking
pop
and
up out of
walking, and
nowhere.
eventually he gonna
Bam.
catch you. That's how the Madden curse is. And look, check this out, Rod. The
What's up?
last two cover athletes, Christian McCaffrey, what happened? Season-ending injury.
Yep.
The year after that, Saquon's on the cover. Didn't they just have a season where they underachieved? The star receiver was causing drama within the organization. You got half of the organization blaming the quarterback for the dysfunction, the other half blaming the offensive coordinator. You just lost Jeff Stoutland. It sounds like there's a lot happening over there with the Eagles. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it has something to do with the curse. Who knows? So, Caleb Williams, I'm looking at you this year. I'm gonna know something if something happening, Like if he doesn't have that type of season, you think he gonna have Tyree? I'm gonna know something. The curse back in full effect.
Oh wow.
I don't
Okay,
I
man.
don't you know what, Dre? Tyree pretty much looking at you right now, just he just listening to all the foolishness you saying, and he just pretty much ain't
I ain't coming for no foolishness.
that's how he
You
feeling right
you
now
you ain't
when you
lying,
say that.
man. It's in the good words of the water boy. Stay away. Hey, don't keep that evil away from me, Ricky Bobby. But I think I misquoted the movie probably, but still the quote still stands. But
Well, you
yeah,
can't
man.
get flagged for it if look, you can't get flagged for anything if you misquoted it. They can't get royalties off of you.
You know what? Look at God, man. See that's why you the historian, man. Hey, keep on. Look, how did your count say? Hey, you great, you small. No, but for real though, man. This has been a tremendous episode. Any last words, guys?
Rob, why don't you tell the people where they can find you before we get out of here?
Hey,
Well,
man.
everybody could do that before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Man, appreciate y'all, having me on and just collabing with you guys on Gridiron Views. You can find myself and the Magnificent Birdcage crew on my show that's geared towards the Atlanta Falcons, but also we have interviews from former athletes, coaches, journalists from different sports. Yes, we cover football, but we have an interview segment called On the Perch, and that has a little bit of everybody that's been through there. Steve Weish, Miles Garrett, we've had Bob Dandridge, Hall of Fame NBA player. We've had Larry Little, Hall of Fame NFL player. So it's just a mixture of everything over there. Like we say over there, you either get right or you get left. So you can catch us every Thursday at 8 p.m. and during the season on Sundays for live pre-game show, halftime show, and also post-game show called the Party Liner Benediction. So I definitely appreciate you guys for working on this collab, man. Dre?
Yeah, man, you catch me on Twitter at gridiron_Dre. During draft season and I mean during football season, I have breakdowns on my Twitter page, little short stuff. And I got some things coming on YouTube. You catch me on the check down too on YouTube every Wednesday and Saturday. And make sure y'all come back because we gotta have a conversation in depth about that 28-3. Because what I ain't tell you is that whole year was for him bad. It went from second
Uh,
and 26 to 28 to 3. And I'm just saying,
Hey,
man, we
hey,
gotta have that
Andre.
I
conversation one of
I
these days.
I see how you starting it, so, we you know what? This hey,
Ah.
Tyree, this is just how this is.
This is a sick Negro.
That's just what he is right now. That's how we gotta look at it. Shout out hey, man, I can't even with you today. Tyree, you can tell the folks where they can find you at, sir.
Yes, you can find me on all platforms at Tyree L. Holland on all platforms. I look forward to, continue to build this collaboration, man. I love what we building here, man. And speaking of building, man, yeah, I got to be careful before my alarm goes off at 3:28. But yeah, man, look at God, man. I look forward to the endless possibilities with Rye and Andre. Like I like to say, more life, more blessings, man. Here's to the future.
So we're gonna
Episode
go ahead
one.
and wrap So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. This is the first episode of many that's gonna be coming from Gridiron Views. Hey, as we say here in the Gridiron Views, look, we also look beyond the face mask and have a panoramic view of not just football, but also the way that the game is played in life. So beyond the face mask for Gridiron Views, my man Tyree, my man Dre, and this is your boy the historian. Hey, we thank you for tapping in with us. We'll catch you on the next one. Ghost.